Okay, today we are doing 145, 146, addition and subtraction of fractions with uncommon denominators. So 1a, we need to fill in what's missing, and it gives us 3 over 8 equals something over 16, and that something is what we need to figure out. 8 times what will equal 16? And whatever we do 8 times there, we got to do it up here also. So let's figure that out. 8 times 2 is 16. So if we do a times 2 on the bottom, we have to do a times 2 up here. 3 times 2 is 6. B, we have 5 over 9 equals something over 27. 9 times 3 gives us 27. So if we do a times 3 down here, we need to do times 3 up here. 5 times 3 is 15. And our answer is 15 over 27. C, we have 3 over 5 equals something over 10. 5 times what is 10? 5 times 2. If we do a times 2 right here, we have to do a times 2 up there. 3 times 2 is 6, and we get 6 over 10. 1 over 4 equals something over 12. 4 times 3 is 12, so we do 1 times 3 gives us 3, and our answer is 3 over 12. For number 2, it's telling us to write the least common denominator of these fractions. 2a gives us 1 over 2, and it gives us 1 over 3, and it's asking us what is the lowest common denominator. What is the LCD? And we're really needing to just focus on the 2 and the 3. What's the lowest number that 2 and 3 both go into? Well, we know 2 goes into 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. And we know 3 goes into 3, 6, 9, and so on. So our LCD, our lowest common denominator, is going to be 6. That's the number it's shared here and here. 6 is our LCD and going to be our answer for this one. B, we have 3 over 5, 1 over 3, and 2 over 15. What's the lowest number that all 3 of these go into? 15. 15 is your answer. That is your LCD, your lowest common denominator. The next one, they give us 3 fractions again. 4 over 9, 2 over 3, and 1 over 6. And the LCD is going to be 18. The lowest number that both 9, 3, and 6 will all go into. Next one, 3 over 8 and 1 over 6. Your LCD is going to be 24. That's the lowest number that 8 and 6 will evenly go into. Number 3, we've got a lot of words along lines of directions. It says to add after finding the least common denominator and making equivalent fractions. Answers should always be in lowest terms, and we already do that. We always make sure that our answers are in the lowest terms, that they cannot be reduced anymore. So 3a, we have 1 over 4 plus 1 over 2. Now, to add or subtract fractions, we must have common denominators. So we have to make our 4 and 2 the same number. They've got to be common, they've got to be the same. What does 4 and 2 go into? And what we're doing is we're finding our LCD, our lowest common denominator. Kind of like our LCM, lowest common multiple, same idea. What does 4 and 2 both go into? The lowest number they both go into is 4. The lowest number that they both go into is 4. Well, 4 times 1 is going to be 4. And so that times 1, we need to do it up here too. 1 times 1. That gives us 1. Down at the bottom, 2 times what is 4? 2 times 2. So if we do a times 2 here, we have to do a times 2 right there. 1 times 2 is 2. And now, with denominators being the same, we're able to add this up. This one and this one added together, and we get 3 over 4. And that can't be reduced, so that is our final answer right there. B, we have 3 over 8 plus 1 over 4. Okay, we've got to find an LCD for 8 and 4. What's the lowest number that both 8 and 4 will go into? 8 is the lowest number that they both go into. 8 times 1 is 8. This is times 1. We're not doing anything really. We're kind of just bringing everything over when it's times 1. 4 times 2 is 8. On this one we have to make a change. Times 2 on the bottom, times 2 on the top. 1 times 2 will give us 2. Now we have common denominators of 8s, and we can add these. 3 plus 2 is 5 over 8. Our answer is 5 over 8. It cannot be reduced, so that is completed. C, we are using mixed numbers in C. Remember, a mixed number is a whole number and a fraction together. C, we start with 4 1/2 plus 6 1/3. We have to have common denominators to make this work. We have to have the bottom number in our fraction the same to make this work. What is our LCD, our lowest common denominator, of 2 and 3, the lowest number that both will go into? 2 and 3 both go into 6. That will be our lowest number. So I'm just moving our whole numbers over. I'm just taking our 4 and putting it here, and our 6, putting it there. And then I'm putting our LCD of 6 on the bottoms. 3 times what will equal 6? 3 times 2. If we do a times 2 there, we got to do a times 2 here. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times what equals 6? 2 times 3. If we do a times 3 there, we must do a times 3 on the top as well. 1 times 3 is 3. Now we add up our fractions. 3 plus 2 is 5 over 6. Add up our whole numbers. 4 plus 6 is 10. And our fraction can't be reduced. We have completed this problem. Go ahead, circle your answer of 10 and 5/6. The next one is another mixed number, 3 and 2/5, 1 1/2. So we need to find an LCD for 5 and 2. I'm going to rewrite our problems with our whole numbers and a fraction bar all ready to go. 5 and 2. We're looking at our 5 and our 2. And what is the LCD for 5 and 2? The lowest common denominator for both 5 and 2 would be 10. The lowest number that 5 and 2 both go into. 5 times what is 10? 5 times 2. If we do it times 2 there, we got to do it times 2 on top. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times what is 10? 2 times 5. If we do it times 5 there, we got to do it times 5 here. 1 times 5 is 5. Add up our fractions, we get 9/10. Add up our whole numbers, we get 4. And so our mixed number answer here is 4 and 9/10. For A, it's saying to subtract after finding common denominators and making equivalent fractions. So we're doing the same thing now, but it's just subtraction. 1/2 minus 1/3. What is our common denominator for 2 and 3? 2 and 3, they both go into 6. 2 times 3 is 6. So we're going to do a times 3 up here. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. So we're going to do a times 2 on top. 1 times 2 is 2. Now we subtract. 3 minus the 2 is 1, and your denominator stays the same as 6. The next one, we have 4/5 minus 3/10. Okay, we're looking for an LCD here for 5 and 10. The lowest common denominator of 5 and 10 would be 10. 5 times 2 is 10. 4 times 2 is 8. Now the bottom, look, you're just timesing it by 1, so you don't really need to do anything but just bring over the 3. You don't have to do any work. 8 minus 3 is 5. 8 minus 3 is 5. And then put a 10 on the bottom. 5/10 is not completely reduced, so we'll do that now. What goes into both 5 and 10? 5 does. 5 goes into 5 one time. 5 goes into 10 two times. And so our answer now is half. Next one, 2 and 6/7 minus 3/14. Got to find an LCD for 7 and 14. They both go into 14. I'm going to bring my 2 over. 7 times 2 is 14, so 6 times 2 is 12. And the bottom, look, it's going to be the same, we just bring over the 3. Now we're ready to subtract because we have common denominators. 12 minus 3 gives us 9. We'll write 9/14. And 2 minus, there's nothing to minus, so I'll bring the 2 down. And we get 2 and 9/14. D, 5 1/2 minus 2 1/4. Common denominators, it's going to be 5/4, 2/4, 2 times 2 is going to be our 4 over here. Times 2 at the top then as well. 1 times 2 is 2. This one we're just bringing our 1 over. 2 minus 1 is 1. We get 1 over 4. 5 minus 2 is 3. Our answer is 3 and 1/4. 5. 5's telling us to change to a mixed or whole number. Reduce if necessary. 5a, we have 7/6. That's an improper fraction. So we need to ask ourselves, how many times does 6, the bottom number, go into 7, the top number? It goes in 1 time. 6 goes into 7 1 time. If you subtract, you get 1. So your remainder is 1, but we're writing it as a fraction. So it'll be 1 and 1 over, your 6 goes over here. 1, and I'll make it neater over here. 1 and 1 over 6. Three over 2. Same thing happening. Bigger number on top, so it's an improper fraction. You ask yourself, how many times does 2 go into 3? Goes in 1 time with 1 left over, and you keep your denominator of 2, so your answer is 1.5. C. I like these when they work out evenly. I hear on C. 8 goes into 16 2 times. Done. D. We have 9 over 4. 4 goes into 9 2 times with 1 left over, and you keep a 4 as your denominator. All right, 6a, it's a story problem. It says Melanie bought 1/3 yard of material, a third of a yard of material, for $4.20 per yard. So for a whole yard, it would be $4.20. How much did the material cost in all? But Melanie didn't buy a whole yard. She bought 1/3 of a yard. So we need to divide this by 3 to figure out how much the portion that she got was. 3 goes into, and let me write it to the side here. Let's review our dad, mom, sister, brother, rover steps. Our first step we'll do is our dad. How many times does 3 go into 4? It goes in 1 time. Let's do our mom. Multiply. Dad was divide. Mom, multiply. 3 times the 1. 3 times 1 is 3. Let's do our sister's step of subtract. 4 minus 3 is 1. Do our brother's step of bring down. And now we do our rover step of repeat or remainder. It's not time for remainder, so it's time to repeat. And repeat, we just start again and go up to the top. We'll do our dad step of divide. How many times does 3 go into 12? 3 goes into 12 4 times. Do our mom step, multiply. 3 times 4 is 12. Do our sister step of subtract. 12 minus 12 is 0. Do our brother step of bring down. And we need to do our rover step of still repeat here. 3 divides into 0 times. Now multiply 3 times 0. We get 0. Sister, subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0. And brother, bring down. Nothing to bring down. Rover, repeat or remainder. But there's no remainder. We just have 0. So our answer, put your $sign in there. Bring this decimal up, is $1.40 for a third of the yard, a third of the material. That's the answer to 6A, $1.40. 6B, Jason rode with his uncle for 6 hours at the average rate of 49 miles per hour. So every hour they go 49 miles, about that much, the average. How far did he travel? Well, we know in 1 hour, he goes 49 miles in 1 hour. Well, we need to figure out how far he went in 6 hours. So to figure that out, we're going to times our 49 by 6. 6 times 9 is 54. 6 times 4 is 24. Plus the 5, 29. And so our answer is going to be 294 miles. Make sure you write miles so I know that it's not 294 chickens. 294 miles is the answer we need. 7A, 3,295 times 7. 7 times 5 is 35. Put the 5 down, carry the 3. 7 times 9 is 63. Plus 3, 66. 7 times 2 is 14. Plus 6, 20. 7 times 3 is 21. Plus 2, 23. And remember, you need your comma. Your comma will come every 3 places. Right there, 23,065. B, we have 43 times 37. We'll do our ones place first, and we'll do our spray, where we go 7 times 3, and then 7 times 4. 7 times 3 is 21, carry the 2. 7 times 4 is 28, plus the 2, 30. Now, when we do our tens place, we need to start with the 0. And we'll now do our spray here of 3 times 3, then 3 times 4. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, now we're ready to add up our numbers and figure out our answer. 1 plus 0 is 1. 0 plus 9 is 9. 3 plus 2 is 5. And the 1 goes here. Remember, every 3 places we need that comma. 1,591. C, 148 times 63. So we'll start with our spray of our ones place, and then we'll do our spray of our tens place. 3 times 8 is 24, carry the 2. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14, carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1, 4. Now we're going to do our 6 spray, our tens place spray. We need to start with the 0 here. 6 times 8 is 48, carry the 4. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 4 is 28, carry the 2. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 2 is 8. Now we're ready to add up these numbers. 4 plus 8 is 12, carry the 1. 4 plus 8 is 12, plus another one, 13. 8 plus 1 is 9. Put your comma in, 9,324. D, we have a bigger number, 987 times 695. 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 8 is 40, plus the 3 is 43. 5 times 9 is 45, plus the 4, 49. Now we'll do our tens place, so we need to put a 0 here. 9 times 7, 63, carry a 6. 9 times 8, 72, plus the 6, 78. 9 times 9, 81, plus the 7, 88. Now we're going to do our hundreds place, so we need 2 zeros. 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 8 is 48, plus the 4, 52. And 6 times 9 is 54, plus the 5, 59. Now we're going to add up all our numbers. 5, 6, let's see, 17, 18, 19, 13, 14, 15, 18, and 6. With our comma, we get 685,965. 8. We got to fill in the blanks here. 1 peck equals 8 quarts. B, going across 1 yard, is how many inches? It is 36 inches. How about C? C is 1 year equals how many days? Point to the left side if you think 375 days is the right answer. Point to the right side if you think 365 days is the right answer. The correct answers for days in a year, correct answer for days in a year is 365. D, 1 hour is how many minutes? Point to the left side if you think it's 60 minutes, and the right side if you think it's 100. The correct answer is 60 minutes. There are 60 minutes in an hour. 1 week equals 7 days. 1 bushel is, point to the left side if you think it's 8 pecks, and the right side if you think it's 4. 1 bushel is 4 pecks. G, 1 pound is, point to the left side if you think it's 16 ounces, right side if you think it's 21 ounces. 1 pound is 16 ounces. H, 1 quart, that's 2 pints. 1 quart equals 2 pints. Go ahead and do 9 and 10 on your own. I know that will be easy for you. And you guys are the smartest ever.